What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. Now, this has been an interesting month. Like, the month's been, like, just crazy to me. Whenever felt like that to you? It's been like a weird month. Like, all this unusualness is going on. Like, it was a comet that flew over Earth and just had a cosmic effect where all this weird stuff just started happening that doesn't usually happen. From Antonio Brown to the Kevin Hart stuff to this Paul Mooney stuff that's been flying around. And I have known that Paul Mooney wasn't feeling well for a while. Like somebody had told me, like, oh, well, he had a stroke. And I know a lot of comedians. If you saw my interview at Laugh at First Sight on that YouTube page, definitely check that out. It's a very interesting situation over there. And definitely check out all his videos. But I do an interview for about over an hour. We're sitting back and we're just basically shooting the breeze and going over events. But being in the comedic world and sitting back and watching the situations transpire and going to different places and watching and listening and at the comedy shows, talking to people in the industry, and Nick Cannon, comedian, Kale, comedy. We've met. Comedy has been around us forever. Travell here in Chicago. Chicago is the home. Bernie Mac. We've been surrounded and blessed by comedy. And Paul Mooney is a legend in this game. So naturally, when his health is not well, it's gonna float throughout that community. And sure enough, people were saying like he had a mini stroke and all of these things were happening. Him health wise. And that's why people hadn't seen him. But he's been very private with his life. He doesn't really. I think Sandra Bernhardt was the only one I knew that was close to him. Like, I mean, not me, like I can just pick up the phone and call Sandra Bernhardt, but I mean, she was really close with Paul Mooney, is what I'm saying. She was the one I knew that was like closest to him. Now, from the news that's come out now is that he's got dementia, or dementia, or however that disease goes, like Alzheimer's disease and things of that nature. Some type of side effect like that where he sometimes doesn't know where he is, and that's sad. It's very sad that this is happening to him at this stage in his life, and he just was blessed with greatness and just funny, just immediately funny all the time. So he will be greatly missed as far as performing. But he still shows up and does, normally like his sons had said in that interview, he shows up and signs autographs. From what I know, he's resting at home. He's fine. A lot of people say he might be unaware of these events. He's probably aware of them, but then forgets about it and doesn't even know it doesn't like even exist anymore. So, but they say he's clearly not in any position to do a stand up or anything of that nature. So that's the health update with Paul Mooney. And thank you guys for tuning in and hitting the notification bell and subscribe. I hope you do that. And definitely, you can support the page by hitting me up on the Cash App. I appreciate you doing so. Or you can hit the Streamlab below. Click the link in the description box. We appreciate that too. And for the rest of you who's still sticking around, Because, you know, as soon as I start saying, I like to thank, blah, 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 people start shutting the video down. And they jump off. So, they're not going to get the rest of this. Only you fans will. You guys who decided to walk the line. They're going to be they're going to be like, hey, wait a minute, it's still going. What happened? I thought he said goodbye. Now, let me tell you a story of what happened. From what we've heard from comedics, and I hope I'm not telling it wrong. When Richard Pryor had the Richard Pryor show and Paul Mooney was working with him, Richard was all over the place. He was wired. And at the point where Paul Mooney had to go do everything last minute for Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor would want something like astronomically hard to get and would expect Paul Mooney to like have it in his pocket. And it would like some magic Paul would pull out, or he would bring Richard Pryor back to the table, you know, like back to normal or out of the realm that he was in to get him to do the job. And it was like you never knew what was going to happen the very next day. And people at NBC who was like, this guy's a genius, but he's hard to work with. It was incredible to the point where it became like a new adventure that you could not record on camera. They were like, in Paul Mooney's voice, man, I swear, I hate working with Richard. I hated working with Richard, especially on the Richard Pryor show. The show was so funny. It was just, but that was just so Richard. Richard was just crazy. He was all over the place. He was heavy on drugs. Yeah, he was heavy on drugs at that time during the show. One night, Richard's like, well, you know, I want to go out there and do the show, but I'm missing something. I think for the sketch, if we went out and got ourselves a llama, I think the llama would really, if we had a real llama, it would make the scene a lot better if we had a real llama on the show. What you think about that, Paul? Well, Richard, we got 20 minutes to take. And you know they ain't finna hand no nigga no llama. I'll tell you what. I know somebody in here, one of these white damn executive directors got a damn sheepdog. We just tell him it's a damn llama. It'll be the same goddamn thing. So we gonna make the show go. Watch. I'm gonna have that damn thing looking like a llama. But I kind of wanted a llama. Next thing you know, Paul Mooney brings in a sheepdog. And Richard Pryor's like, see? There it is, a damn llama. That's what we needed for the skit. See, Paul, I told you, you put your mind to it, you can do everything. So, Paul goes into a whole nother thing. That night, and that problem's averted. Then, the next night happens. Next show night. I don't think I'm going on tonight. Why? I needed some medicine, and it wasn't in my cabinet when I got here. First it was, now it's gone. I don't know who took it. That was just code word for Richard done took his drugs. He forgot. He's not high no more, and he needs to get more. Now, the usual guy we go to get the stuff from, he's not here today. This would be the day he would be gone. Of all days. Now, we got a show in about an hour and 35 minutes before we start taping and filming. Now, I got to find some drugs and get it back to Richard before an hour and 35 minutes. That seems like 60 years of time for a nigga. But no. That seemed like an easy task. It was the hardest thing in America. Now Richard wanted to do some freebase. And Richard knew, like I knew, he was going to have to go with me. I wasn't finna go into the neighborhoods that we were going into to look for the freebase man. So we didn't want to ride alone. But we had no choice because we couldn't let nobody know what was going on but us. We load up the car. We driving down the road. And we looking down the alley and it's dark and all you see is this steam. And I'm like, where the hell is the steam coming from out of the sewers? What the hell are they doing down there? That steam is coming up out of the damn sewers, Richard. I swear it looked like a damn music video. I thought somebody was going to walk across the screen and start flipping a coin or something. It looked just that terrifying. And I'm like, I'm not going out there. I'm not going out there. This is not going to end well for me. I'm blacker than you, Richard. You got to make this run. They will see my black ass as soon as I step out of the car. I can't get black enough to camouflage myself. But you, they might mistake you for a white guy if you move around fast enough, Richard. You need to get out there. Man, I'm not getting out this. I don't know no fools out in this neighborhood. Now, I know I'm cool with niggas, but I don't know these guys like that. Hey, let's ask this guy here who's walking by. Ooh, we look like Joe Louis. Hey, how you doing, sir? Can you help us? So this big dude coming walking down the street come up to the car. And the big guy walks up to the car. And they ask him, you know where we can find the freebase man? And he was, oh man, I could have did that for you, but y'all just ran and caught me on the last day, man. I'm fresh out. But I know where we can get some. Hold on. He goes over to the payphone. Back then it was payphone, ladies and gentlemen. Walks to the payphone, picks it up, makes a call, and says, open the door. Then they was, hold on a minute, right? Wait 1 second. This nigga want to get in the car. Well, you invited him over, Richard. Now if you don't let him in the car, you're going to insult him, Richard. Why did you have to bring me out here? We got 45 minutes to get back, Richard. I know what to do. Where are we going, sir? That you got to get in the car. Well, we got to go up here to the block to where it's at. And I don't think they're going to let you guys in without me. One more moment, sir. Richard, I say we trust this super nigga. Yeah, he's much bigger than us. Plus, we don't have anything for him to take anyway. We just got enough for the freebase. So I say we let him in the car. Okay. Well, you brought the nigga over. So he gets in the car. They go all the way over to the doggone like project building, this like house that's condemned. It looked like a Freddy Krueger looking house or something. The guy gets out and was like, y'all coming? Hold on a minute. I thought this nigga was going to get the drugs and bring it out of there. Why don't you go inside the spooky house and then you come back out? And with the drugs, and then we give you the money for the drugs, and then we can get up out of here. We got to be gone in like 45 minutes. Richard, we got to get the hell out of here. Richard was, hold on a minute. I'll go. Long as I'm behind you, everything should be okay. He was, Richard, I don't know about that. Come on, Paul, you going with me? Listen, I know you like this guy, and you just met him, and you like him because he looks like a security guard. But I can't go with you and Super Nigga over here in this doggone spooky house. This is not going to turn out well for me. No. I'm going to sit here in the car. So Paul stays in the car. They go up in the house. Now, they in there having such a good time. He knows now, I got to get in there. He's like, it's loud in there. People are talking loud and everything screaming. He was like, oh man, I gotta get in there. I gotta get in there, because if I don't come back with Richard, all they gonna say is, Richard left with Paul Mooney, and Paul Mooney killed Richard Pryor. Took him to a long out place and killed him. Now, they should know damn well if I'm gonna kill Richard Pryor, I'll kill him right there on the set. I got to come back with Richard to clear my name. So he goes back in there, and sure enough, he gets in there and goes, what's going on? He was like, man, he decided he wanted to do it here. God damn it, Richard. You know you got a show to do. I have 13 minutes to get this boy back. 13 minutes. So, look here, Super Nigga. I'm going to need you to help me carry him back to the car. So, Super Nigga picks him up and they take him back to the car. They get him, load up Richard in the car and everything else. Richard Pryor's talking to home. Bunch of stuff that don't make no sense. You know, I don't understand. Why don't they make cars for midgets? You know, just have little cars they can get in and it's more comfortable for them. You know, I just see a midget get in a big old regular person car and they start driving it. And I'm like, that's a waste of space. All that space in that car's too big for them. They should have, like they make the cars for kids, they should just make cars for the midgets. Then have the midget lane and they can drive down the midget lane. That would be cool to see. So, all of this craziness is coming out of his mouth. And they got to get Richard back in time. So they running red lights. They get down there. And they get Richard down there and they got Super Nigga with him. Next thing you know, after that, Richard was like, don't you leave. I'm going to make sure you get paid for everything you did. So Super Nigga stuck around. Next thing you know, Paul Mooney and his dad got everybody loaded. He was like, at the end of the day, I come out. Richard comes out in his pocket and gives Super Nigga all the goddamn money. Super Nigga made more money than me that night. And I took the risk. Well, I tell you that, Richard. He could be a selfish son of a bitch sometimes. But we love Super Nigga. Yeah, we hired him. He was part of the staff. So, oh man, the good old days. So, that's reportedly what happened on one of their escapades during the Richard Pryor show. They had a lot of adventures. A lot of things happened on the set. But always funny, those guys. And hearing this story being told by other comedians telling this story is even funnier when they try to break it down to you. So I hope I did the story justice. I'm out. And yeah, click one of the 4 videos, please.